If I asked you to think of one of the most iconic classic American cars, what year, make, and model would pop into your mind? For me, it'd be a 1957 Chevrolet. Today on Budget Builds, that's what we're going to review, a budget build 57 Chevrolet. When I was a kid, my father took us to plenty of car shows. And every car show I went to, I wanted to see if there was a 57 Chevy there. I don't know if it was the body lines or all the chrome. Something about the car just made it very appealing to me. The owner of this car found him very appealing as well. He was able to build this project for under $25,000. To start this build, he scoured the internet and found a project car in Kansas City. He drove out, looked at it. It had very little rust, but needed a complete restoration. He gave $11,000 for the car. He loaded it up onto the trailer. On the way back to St. Louis, there was an accident on the highway, and the highway was shut down for 2 hours. While they were shut down for 2 hours, people started getting out of their cars, coming up, and wanted to take pictures with the car. He was more than happy to do so. It makes for a great story. When he got the car back, the project began. He did all the body work and paint himself. He also did all the mechanical work himself, including brakes, power steering, and all the upgrades. He also installed the driveline. The only thing he had to have paid for on this car was the interior. The one thing I always found fascinating about the 57 Chevy was the way the chrome on top of the window would articulate when you opened and closed the door. I don't know why, but as a little kid, I thought this was the neatest thing. Let's take a look at the interior. This is part of the car that he had to pay to have done. He had the door panels, the seats, the headliner, and the console done for $2,500. He wanted to look fairly original with bucket seats and a console, but these cars did not come with those. So for the console, the interior guy said make your own console out of plywood and that he would finish it off and make it look like it belonged. And he did a really good job. The dashes in these cars were never meant to be looked over, they were meant to be looked at. He finished off the dash with a Dakota digital gauge package that works well with the driveline. Onto the driveline. He purchased this engine, transmission, serpentine belt drive, wiring harness, and computer for $1,100 off of Craigslist. What do you get for $1,100? You get a 350 horsepower LT1, a Monster 700 R4 transmission, and everything to make it run. He also added some creature comforts like air conditioning, power steering, and power brakes. The engine sure looks nice, but what does it sound like? This is a real treat for me. I've never been in, nor have I ever driven a 57 Chevrolet. This is one of my bucket list cars. I've always wanted one, and maybe someday I'll get one. But for now, I can enjoy this one. The car drives nice, steering's tight, brakes work well. It's basically like a new car. The owner of this car did a wonderful job putting it together. You can take it to the grocery store, he even took it to the racetrack. You can drive anywhere you want in this car. And for me, I'm just really happy that I get to drive it. This has been a really fun day for me driving this car. And if I could get this car for 25 grand, I'd buy it today. But unfortunately, to get this car for 25 grand, you got to put the work into it to build it yourself. So maybe someday I'll get one. But until then, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.